Today we're going to be making a cutaway of the MMxII, this lock. It's sent to me by DeckFacts. Thanks a lot. Already unpackaged it, but you can read here the user manual. So it is a lock. Yes, there it is. Anyways, then we're going to be making it into a cutaway. A cutaway is essentially milling away everything that's not strictly necessary for the lock to function to try and promote viewing of the internal mechanism. To do that, we're going to be using some of these cutters here. You may have seen them in previous videos, and these are like little knives that move away material wherever they touch. And that's essentially what we're going to do. I have already made a cutaway on one of these, and it turned out really well. So we're going to essentially just do the same thing here. To be making a cutaway, we always need a fixture, and that is to hold the lock in a certain manner that we can access everywhere we want to access without having to either change setups for efficiency or change setups for aesthetic purposes, because every time you change setup, you aren't on the same rotational axis as you were last time. So that's why I always just try and do everything in one setup. And to do that, I'm going to use this. It's a little mandrel that I turned on the lathe, and this is how I did that. now that you understand all of the hassle in cutting this steel, we can start disassembling the lock and turning on this mandrel. So to do that, I'm going to take my cutting tray that's full of hand mills. And after that, this part here will come out. And two at the front. And something you'll notice with this lock here, I'll show you some of it, is that everything is what you'd expect from Japanese manufacturing. 31 millimeters exactly. It is 15 millimeters exactly. The fact that they put such precision into every single component just blows my mind. And this black thing here needs to come off, and after that we can actually take out this piece. Just gonna put the sidebar here, and there are two springs. We don't want to lose any of them. Just gonna put there. We're not actually going to touch this anymore, but just put it somewhere safe and make sure that this bar down here is always pressed down. You can take this perfect slide over there, and you'll notice that this piece here is actually slightly eccentric, a few millimeters, so this hole here is also slightly eccentric, as you can see, and they fit together just like so. Future me here, looking back at the terrible audio quality. Now we're going to start measuring out the cuts that we're going to take. I have done this lock before, so I do have a bit of an idea of what the cuts are going to look like, but it's good to measure them out nevertheless. So the window is going to start at about 4.7 millimeters, 4.6 in the previous drawing. From there on, we're going to have a little bridge over one of the high spots of the sidebar. That's going to end at about 15 millimeters, and it's going to start at about 12.5 millimeters. From there on, the window is going to end at 30 millimeters. I always tend to mark this up. I have a DRO, so I know what I'm doing, but if something were to happen, it's good to always have a line that you can reference off so that you aren't going in completely blind. I'm now just scribing on the lines in some permanent marker ink, and now it's off to the milling machine. The best thing for brass, particularly on this machine with this setup, is probably just compressed air, but I don't have that, so not much we can do there. I should definitely have measured out how thick it is, but we'll see now anyways. I'm going to start by touching off on the side here, and this fixture I don't really care about, so we're actually just going to touch it until we get some chips. We're going to use that as our X offsets. Alright, we are finished. Oh, there we go. Yeah, a bit of a nick and a scratch here and there on the fixture. Quite alright. So we have a little bit of a burr inside of there, and we're just going to drag our file along, just getting that foil off, because it's a bit of foil left where we didn't get. As you can see, we're pulling it off right now, and this foil here is really ugly, so you can either scrape it off, you can slightly file it off. That's looking pretty good. Oh, actually we have a bit of a chatter mark in here. That's not that good. Oh. Now it's time for the cap. So the cap, I believe, was this way. Either way, it doesn't really matter. And we want to mark off. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get with marking this cap here. It's kind of annoying to be marking because of the fillets. But yeah, that is looking pretty good. All right, I'm gonna see what the best way to fixture this is. I don't exactly recall how I do it. I think I can do it actually on the lock, but that's a bit risky. Seeing as I'm not really in the mood to make another fixture, we're going to be using a little bit of a trick here to make this work. Even though this is eccentric to the shaft and to the dividing head, 40 degrees is still 40 degrees. The only thing that changes is the position of the cutter relative to the work area. So essentially, since I have it now set up, this is 0 degrees. If I go ahead and rotate this 40 degrees, my Y is going to be off by a certain amount. But there are ways that we can dial that in. So let's go ahead and start doing that. And we can touch this off. It doesn't have to be super precise. Again, we're making a cutaway, not a hydraulic cylinder. There we go. That is Y0. And now we have our 0 point. Alright, just like that. Just going to save a bit of noise when I'm talking, so I don't work. Right, so I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot. And now, let me say 3, 2, 4, 6. Now let's go over to the other side. Let's do the exact same thing. So, 30 degrees. That's it. All right. I'm just going to use a brush to get rid of the rest of the dust here. And we can start assembling. This is always my favorite part with cutaways, but let's go ahead and see how these two fit together. They should fit together pretty nicely, I hope. If we line up the holes, yes, look at that. Right. So, to assemble this lock, first going to start off with this little thing here in the back. Just put that down. We can actually, let's do that later. Right. The best way I found to assemble this is to do this bit first. Yes, this is just such a pain to do after you put it down into the lock. And then we can use a pin in the end here to gently lower it down. But since this is a cutaway, I can just use my fingers on the side. Okay, that's looking good. Now we'll balance this to the best of our ability. And we'll take this out like so. And do our very best. Place this back down, make sure that the sidebar is in the smaller groove when it's in the closed position. It's not going all the way down. Let's use a key, try and fiddle it all the way down. Very good. And we haven't accidentally rekeyed it, even better. Now we'll go around here at the back and we'll let everything come down just a touch. Let's put this back in there. Uh-oh. It's not good. Reattach the cam. I believe these were the smaller screws. There we go. That is the lock completed. Cutaway is done. We can insert the key and have a look at the locking mechanism. It's such a nice locking mechanism. And to think that all of these parts here move and operate with such extreme precision while the lock being actually very affordable is even more bizarre. I suppose I can show the keying mechanism. So right now you can take the, you can use the lock. And if you use the yellow key, which is the rekeyer, you can take it forward. And we can see the sidebar down here. Then we can actually extract the key. And now it's in an unlocked position, so to say. So the next time we insert another key, take it back. Now the key will work with this key. Or sorry, the lock will work with this key. So, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different, you know, machining and cutaway making, but it is lock related nevertheless. So I don't have any shame showing it on the channel. Thanks for watching.